Hi, good evening. So I'm glad today we are able to do our Facebook Live at night, 9 o'clock. I'm sure because now that the market is opening up, almost most of the company, 100% of them are working at the office. So I think doing it at 6 p.m. doesn't make sense anymore. So glad that today we are doing it at 9 p.m. So last week or the last 2 weeks, actually, we did a hormone live. Actually, so we are also talking about PCOS. So I think after that, there's so much of inquiry about PCOS. So we are so lucky that we have Deena that talk to who love PCOS so much that she has a IG called My PCOS I Love You, and she was even diagnosed with PCOS when she is 17 years old. So this is like real story, so that many people who has PCOS can relate to. So maybe Deena, you want to tell us a little bit about your history with PCOS?
Sure. Thank you for having me, first of all. Okay, so it's a bit of a long story, but I'm going to try and make it as short as possible. I was diagnosed with Polycystic Ovary Syndrome at the age of 17 years old. And when I was first diagnosed, it was really because I had irregular periods and I had problem with weight. I've always been a very big girl. And I am I'm 175 cm, so that's 5'8". And growing in the Asian culture or Asian society, being that tall and my size isn't really something acceptable, especially back then when there wasn't much stories about body image. So I've always had issues with that, and we were trying to get to the bottom of it. However, throughout the years, the doctors kept saying that all I needed was to lose weight, and they just told me that I have problems with my hormones.
How heavy was you at that time? Because you doesn't look heavy right now. So you're saying like your doctor needs to ask you to lose weight. It seems that you are on a very heavy side. How heavy was
that? When I was younger, I think I was my heaviest was 130 kilos.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to tell us about your PCOS. You need to tell us how you lose so much of it as well.
That's the issue, right? Like I only started losing weight when I started to really listen to my body. But before that, I think I was always busy criticizing myself, telling myself that, hey, my body is stupid. I hate my body. Because it wasn't working like normal girls, like when you are growing up in a school, you look at other girls when they're like 12, 13, they start to develop boobs, right? Like nice breasts. I didn't. I was flat. And then girls will start to share stories about, oh, my period is here, is your period? And then they start to sync, right, their period. And I didn't have that either. And then, you start to become slowly, you feel like you're so alone because you don't fit in with anyone. So the only people I fit in with was the boys. But even then, the boys will tell me like, oh my God, your legs are so hairy. Your legs look like a boy's leg, which it was. It was very hairy. I was very, very hairy. Like I would shave and it will grow back in 1.5 days. That's how bad it was. Yes, it was really bad. So I think over the years and the fluctuation of weight, I also went through a problem with drug addiction. And the problem with drug addiction came out because I was having problems with my weight. Like I wanted to be thin.
Yeah.
I was so obsessed with being thin because back then my idol was Paris Hilton. So you see how small she is. Right? Yeah, exactly. Because it was really like last time Paris Hilton lah, Nicole Richie, they're all like very skinny girls, right? And I tried to, I played every sports. I played football, basketball, netball, volleyball, everything. It didn't work. I didn't lose any weight. I work out twice a day. It didn't work. I tried everything. I tried dieting. I ate 800 calories a day for 3 months. I only gained weight. So I really didn't understand. And when I went to the fitness trainers, all I heard them say was like, maybe you're not working hard enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you must be joking. I'm working out twice a day and I'm vomiting on the side. How is that not working hard enough? And if I go back to the healthcare, to the doctors, they'll say like, oh, you just need to lose a bit more weight. But they didn't tell me how. They didn't tell me why. They didn't explain to me. They just said that. So all of that, I got into drug addiction, and then my weight was really skinny, and then I shot up to 130 kgs. And fast forward to now, 4 years ago, I started to heal myself by stopping all the drugs that was given to me. I stopped birth control pills. I stopped all the supplements that were given to me by doctors who said that will help me. I was spending about 2,000 to 3,000 a month on supplements.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So I think a lot of times, maybe a lot of people doesn't know that hormonal plays a very, very important role in our health, especially our weight. So even me myself, when I mean, as age catching up, your progesterone getting lower, you will think like, why? When I was younger time, I lose weight quite easily, but right now it's like difficult. And I remember that one time when I go for vaccination, I got sick. That 2 weeks when I'm taking medication, my weight just goes up. So I think medication and hormonal really plays a huge role. And
That's
a lot
right.
of people will think that you just need to eat less and exercise more. No, if you have your hormone against you, no matter how hard you work, actually it doesn't make it better. Sometimes it make it worse because you work out so much, you stimulated your cortisol hormone and things like that. It actually make it worse. So how do you come to this realization 4 years ago?
I really gave up on everything, right? It was a very sad
you
realization.
4 years ago. So 4 years ago, you mean you're still 130 kilos?
No, 4 years ago, I think I was already 90 kgs.
Okay. How do you manage to go down that 40, almost 40?
Well, that particular part was, I feel, is the easiest part, because you see, when you're overweight, it's slightly easier for you to lose.
Yes.
It's harder for you to lose weight when you already get to a plateau stage, right?
Right.
So the initial part was I did CrossFit. I competed for CrossFit regional, and that was very grueling. I didn't know that actually also caused my body to react in a bad way. And then the realization, my turning point of wanting to just sort of restart my entire body was because I started joining support groups in the US. I started reading a lot of articles and a lot of research papers. I started doing my own research day and night and really talking about it to people in support groups. And I decided to make my
PCOS support group, is it?
So I decided to just turn my body into a guinea pig, where I was experimental on different supplements. And I have absolutely omitted all type of chemical drugs. So I'm purely on just natural plant-based supplements, the usual magnesium, inositol, zinc, and the multivitamins. That's it. But I started to try out different things, and I started to see changes. And the worst part about it is, when I went back to my healthcare professional, it still told me to lose weight and didn't tell me how. So which was really ironic. I feel that, I'm a patient. I go to you because I know I don't have the answers, because I'm not a professional, right? You went to med school, get paid a lot of money, and you are sort of supposed to give us, you're supposed to be the light at the end of the tunnel that we run towards, right? But here you just give me a dead end. So I gave up. And eventually I started to come across a lot more women who were in my shoes. Some of them were in my shoes like when I first started. What inspired me to keep going was that I started to also coach these women on how they should on how they should look at their life. Because when I first got PCOS, I felt like it was a death sentence. Like I was like, that's it. My life is over. Because the first appointment, my doctor did tell me that I would be infertile.
Oh, okay,
So that's
yeah.
basically taking my womanhood away,
Yeah.
and so that really stirred up a lot of emotions, and I decided to give back to the community by doing research and also helping other women. And here I am, and I've lost a total of, well, I'm 70, well, lost a total of 59 kg now, because I'm
Wow.
71 now.
Wow, so you are now at the ideal weight because you are actually very tall.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think a lot of people will also encounter a problem like you, that when they go to doctor, because doctors are being trained in a very conventional way, right?
That's
So
right.
yeah, so not many doctors will understand about functional medicine.
That's right.
Maybe yeah. So sometimes going to the right doctor is really important.
I
Somebody who
agree.
actually believe in functional medicine rather than just drugs, because we know that a lot of times drugs will subside our symptom, but it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
really solve our root cause, right? So,
Yeah.
so tell me a little bit, what inspired you to do this My PCOS I Love You um, organization?
Well,
I think
that's
they have
very
gone through a
easy.
lot. So what makes you wanted to start this?
Honestly, I've wanted to start this a very long time ago because I knew how lonely having PCOS can be.
Mm,
And I know how it is to be surrounded by people who don't have PCOS, and you can't
mm,
talk to anybody. You can't explain to anyone why you
mm.
feel so angry or why you feel so sad on certain parts of
Mm,
the month, right?
mm,
And I
yeah.
decided, like, enough is enough. Enough of women being treated this way. Enough of doctors telling them that they are the problem. Enough of
Mm,
fitness people telling us we're lazy. Enough. I'm tired of it. And you see, the thing about polycystic ovarian syndrome, it is genetic, right? So if I ever have a daughter in the future, the chances of my daughter having it is very high. And I'm never going to let my daughter go through the same type of, world that I did. So no more. Also, I got to know about women who suffers in domestic abuse due to their
mm,
PCOS, right? Because
okay.
the husband doesn't understand that they have a hormonal problem. So the husband tends to blame them for being like
Most,
dramatic,
yes. Yes.
emotional. So I felt like enough is enough. Like I felt that we needed to do something, be loud about it, so then people can be like, oh, what is PCOS? Or be loud enough so then people can actually understand better. And then so we came up with this organization with my co-founders, Ili Sulaiman and Stephanie Yang, simply
Okay.
because the three of us, well, the two of them found out they had PCOS at very different times of their age. Ili got it at
Okay.
when she was in her 30s. Stephanie
Okay.
found out about it after two children, after she gave
Okay.
birth to two children. And when we started it, our main mission was really to help the women. So it is essentially a social enterprise that we help women to manage, treat their PCOS, giving them all the information they need. And my husband is our brand and creative director. And what he does is, what he does in the organization is he makes men more comfortable to the idea of talking about women's health. And
Okay.
he talks about it a lot, and I think he knows what polycystic ovarian syndrome better than a lot of people, because he hears me babbling about it all the time, right? So he's like, she's a
Yeah.
professional at it.
So I think it is more common that many people would know that a lot of us might be having PCOS, and you might not know it because it's quite a wide spectrum, right? So like
That's
for
right.
now, it's a bit more obvious because her menses is irregular and things like that. But some
Yeah,
people who are very regular menses might also have PCOS
that's
without
right.
that knowing, right? So
Yeah.
maybe a lot of our audience still doesn't know what PCOS is. So maybe do you want to just
Okay.
talk about this all over again? What
Okay, that's fine.
PCOS is? Yeah.
I'm always happy to reshare and share about polycystic ovarian syndrome. So polycystic ovarian syndrome is a hormonal imbalance endocrine disorder. And if people were to wonder, is it really a gynecological problem? It isn't, because the name itself, like polycystic ovarian syndrome, the name itself is pretty misleading.
Yeah.
Our issue is mainly hormones, which is the basis, and it affects our insulin, it affects our inflammation, it affects our cortisol, and it'll affect our adrenal fatigue, right? So women with PCOS usually just the most obvious symptoms is, yes, irregular period, weight gain, hirsutism, which is excessive hair growth, hair loss. But the more rare symptoms is a woman with regular periods also can get PCOS. A woman without polycystic ovaries can also have PCOS. And then like women with high insulin resistance will have they'll have skin tags at the neck or at the at the elbow. They have darkened skins. So these are the things. That's why it's so hard for any doctors to diagnose PCOS. For a long time, I have always blamed doctors. Or they're not doing their job. But when I read up about how they were taught in school, I understood better why they do the things they do in the clinic, right? But that doesn't stop us from educating. So women with PCOS, they are usually categorized into 4 categories, which is insulin resistance, PCOS inflammation, chronic inflammation, adrenal fatigue, and post-pill PCOS. And usually, like for myself, I happen to have all 3, which is inflammation, adrenal, and insulin resistance. But I'm also happy to announce that I have reversed all of it.
Wow, that's good. You need to share today about all this. So, like, how do you diagnose that you have these 4? You have 3 out of 4.
Right. So usually, the diagnosis will come from a blood test. It will look at your inflammation marker, and then, of course, your history will play a big part. For example, if you tell the doctor, I'm always tired, I'm always having sugar cravings, so that would help the diagnosis as well. Unfortunately, doctors are still, actually, I don't like to talk about doctors. But the blood test is a very important factor for them to do the diagnosis. And the reason how I found that out is I kept reading, and I look at my own blood test, and I kept reading, and I kind of like, you know what, I'm definitely insulin resistance, inflammation, and adrenal fatigue. And the funny part is when I started to research on how to fix all these 3, I was good. So I knew that was the problem. Yeah.
So I think again, many doctors who are not being trained on all this hormonal imbalance thingy, they might not even know. Even with blood tests, they might not even know you are PCOS.
Exactly. They won't know how to detect the fake hormones.
Yeah, because sometimes the hormone might be still within the normal range, but you might not be balanced, right? So I think a lot of times doctors are being trained not to kill you, means just save your life. But if you want to have a like healthy and wellness,
good quality life, yeah.
So I think you still need to look for a doctor who actually major in wellness, because not many doctors in the market are majoring in wellness.
I agree. I think that first of all, I think the wellness industry will be very lucrative in the future, or even now. They're getting there. So you're in the right industry, Miss Yap.
Prevention is always better than cure. I think most of us wouldn't want to go to hospital, right? And you're being diagnosed of this and that. It's always good that we do our blood test well, check our.
That's right.
Sometimes when you go to doctor, your blood test looks good, but you don't feel good. You still like, you're talking about insulin resistance, you're talking hormonal imbalance. Imagine when your progesterone is down, your testosterone is down, or whatever is down. You don't feel good, but your blood test is still okay.
Yeah, because I think they always look at lipid profile, your cholesterol, your liver, and stuff like that. So I think now more than ever, I'm 32, by the way, but
Okay.
I think more now than ever, I've been able to see the transitioning of doctors that are more open to looking at your blood test as a whole, rather than like emphasizing on one profile, or just like, oh, just heart, just red white blood cells and stuff like that. And I think it's so important for women with PCOS, especially those that goes to doctor or they have limited resources. I think it's so important to educate these women of what can they do to demand or to tell their doctors what needs to be done. Like, I think we had a session last month, September, that we taught women on how to speak to doctors.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not trying to teach the doctors how to do their job, but we're more telling them, like, docs, we really think that there's something wrong with our body, and I think it's best for you to just sort of like focus on our hormones, because like, if I look at my blood test from before, everything's great, but when you start to emphasize on the hormones, you magnify there, then you start to see the problems. You start to see my luteinizing hormone or my follicle stimulating hormone is like higher than my LH. So it shows something, right? So it's so important for women to be educated. And I think the most recent webinar we had, Dr. Neil Ruzier, who is a pioneer in bioidentical hormone therapy, gave us the best quote. He said, "A doctor should treat women as though they have PCOS until proven not." And I think that's amazing. Yeah, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I would think so, because it's so common. Actually, it's so common that a lot of times many of us didn't know that we are PCOS. You are right. They should.
Exactly. I think, and the worst part is that you start blaming yourself. Like, you start thinking that your body is not functioning the way it's supposed to, but it's not about our body. It's about what we put in it that needs to change a little. Honestly, when I changed my lifestyle a little, I saw big changes. That's why I started to really focus on it.
So, what are the lifestyle that you had changed?
Well, I have made sure that in my diet, I omitted gluten and dairy, because I'm prone to inflammation, right? So don't get me wrong, I still eat gluten and dairy when I'm on holiday and stuff, but when I come back, I have to make sure that I clean that up and then do my workout. I make sure I work out about 5 to 6 times a week to ensure my inflammation is it's handled, like it's manageable, and also my insulin resistance, because my sugar was pretty bad back then. I don't believe in elimination diet, because I don't like to deprive my body of my favorite food. So for example, if I love donuts, not if I love donuts, I do love donuts. When I eat donuts, instead of eating 6, I maybe eat 1.
Okay.
I don't believe in cutting out anything. I believe in doing everything in moderation. I think the hardest changes for me was handling stress.
Okay.
Because I used to be a yes person. Like, I say yes to everyone. I'm a people pleaser. Setting up boundaries and setting up rules, making sure was very difficult for me. The transitioning, people didn't understand me. I lost quite a number of friends because I started not going out late at night. I started to I stopped drinking every week.
Okay.
It's a lot of little changes. It's not major detrimental changes, but it's quite a transition. If you start to go, you basically, this is how I look at PCOS. In order for you to manage your PCOS, you need to micromanage your lifestyle. You have to look at every aspect of your lifestyle. If your lifestyle, for example, you're doing work 12 hours a day and it's not giving you happiness, then is it worth it? Because your health gets the clap back, So I used to work for a big corporation. I was in the hospitality line. I was PR, and Work was crazy. I loved it. Don't get me wrong. Work was crazy, and I loved every bit of the work. But it wasn't great for my hormones. My hormones wasn't happy.
Yeah. So I think, it's all about you knowing your body, right? So I
Yeah.
think people who like gluten, dairy, sugar, I think these are all the things that cause so much of inflammation that we
Yeah.
did not.
That's the
So
problem.
so I don't take too much like milk or cheese, but I love ice cream, chocolate that is dairy and sugar, right? So as we age, then we'll realize, oh, I'm lactose intolerance now, right?
Yeah,
Then
I know. It doesn't
then
happen. It doesn't happen when you're young, right? It like it happens as you grow older. I agree. I used to drink 1 carton a day of milk. Now I can't do it anymore.
yeah. So I think knowing your food is really important. If you eat something and you feel bloated, means something might
It's
not
not.
be right.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
because if you try to eat healthier, you will actually feel quite good. So what happened
That's
is
right.
I I I didn't know I have this lactose intolerance until there's one time I went for meditation for 10 days and we are eating very clean, right? Then after 5 days, I realized one thing. My tummy feels good because I have like always have this tummy like doesn't feel good kind of feeling
Yeah.
every day. So you just because you're busy every day, so you just didn't notice, right?
Yes.
Then
Yes.
then I was like eating so healthily. On the fifth day, I realized this is how a tummy should feels like when it does not have
Problems.
problem, right? So I think be sensitive with what you are eating is really important. Like what Deena said, micromanage your
Yeah.
lifestyle. And
It's.
I think
I
yeah,
think it's.
you're
It's.
saying?
I think it's in the beginning for women who just find out that they have PCOS, it's very overwhelming. And truly, I understand. That's why we set up the organization so people can support these women to sort of tell them and comfort them. They can do it through our DM, they can do it through our website, whichever one they choose. But it is overwhelming. Imagine like you have been just diagnosed and then someone tells you, okay, you're insulin resistant, so you can't eat this, you can't do this, you have to lose weight.
Yeah.
But the thing about PCOS is that I think they need to understand their body very well. And what is so hard about PCOS for a lot of doctors or a lot of healthcare practitioner is that PCOS is a very individualistic condition. Like everyone is different. You know, I
Yeah.
can be like this, then the next person can be like really skinny, also got
Yeah.
PCOS.
Yeah.
So then the treatments are different. So I always try and tell the women, like, hey, you need to know your body. You need to listen to it. So I'll be launching my coaching courses next year. And women can expect to get like a template of work, like a workbook thing where they can, record what they feel after some food. So then able, like you said, like how you felt good after 5 days of eating clean.
Yes.
And clean doesn't mean like salad all the way.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah. It's
mean?
not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Clean, clean is okay. Maybe no processed food. If you have been
Yeah.
eating processed food every day, then maybe
Yes.
cut it down to 4 times a week. Then
Yeah.
you gradually cut it. Processed food is like everywhere. We find processed food everywhere. It's almost so hard to avoid now.
Processed food and sugar, like everything
Yes,
has sugar. Yeah, so
exactly.
how can
So
you not insulin resistant if you are taking so much of sugar every day?
exactly. And
Yeah,
the problem is also like if you don't eat sugar, you eat carbohydrates, then it still turns into sugar for women with PCOS and it becomes worse for us. It's a lot of things, a lot of information to process, but I promise the ladies that once you get a hang of it, it will be okay. Because once I got the hang of it, when I first started the healing journey, I didn't think I could make it. I didn't think I would lose this much weight. I honestly didn't think so. I thought like, this is going to be another failure. I'm going to be, still heavy. But when I started seeing results, I was like, oh my God, it's possible. This is This is possible.
Yeah, actually getting to the root cause is really important. And like what Deena said, everybody is different. You should be your best teacher. You should be sensitive and you should know your body the best.
Exactly, exactly.
Doctors or coach are here to guide you or to
Right.
educate you, but you should be your own best teacher to
Yes.
know what to eat and what not to eat. Because
Yes.
once you eat this thing, of course, again, conscious eating also. If
Yeah.
you are like on the go all the time, just eat whatever, and you don't even have time to feel how your body feel, then you are not eating consciously as well. So
That's
eating
right.
consciously, and 1 hour later, half an hour later, how do your body feel? Then you will know whether this food is good for you or not. And like what
Yeah.
Deena said, once you get hang to it, the results just come because you're eating it right? So it's
Yeah.
like you are doing the right thing, the results comes very fast. But if you're doing the wrong thing, it doesn't help. So
Exactly.
so when you say when you are being diagnosed with PCOS, what was the most overwhelming thing that you feel? Like, is it the
Well,
fertility part, or is it
yeah, the infertility part was definitely the kicker for me.
okay?
It was so bad that when I first got married to my husband, we
Mhm.
had a very rocky. We've only been married for 2 years, but we feel like we've been married for 20. Yeah, because when we first got married, right, I was stressing about conceiving, and
Okay.
like when you were 17 and you were told that you won't be able to conceive,
Hmm.
it's kind of painful. But I didn't trick my husband into marrying me without telling him the information. So he knew the information and he still married me. Uh, but yeah, so when we first got married, it was really hard because, we wanted to make sure we were doing scheduled sex, and it was very stressful, like every month, like scheduled sex, but nothing was happening. And then I finally got pregnant, but it ended up in a miscarriage. That was
Hmm.
when my whole life turned around.
Hmm.
That was when I started to think about it and really unlearn everything that I've learned about my PCOS, because I said to myself,
Hmm.
if a doctor can tell me I was infertile and suddenly I was
Hmm.
able to get pregnant, then why should I believe everything that was said,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Um, so we haven't gotten pregnant since then because we decided to do IVF due to
Okay.
personal reasons. But
Okay.
um, but yeah, when I was pregnant, it ended up in a miscarriage on the second month, which was really sad. But
Okay.
I think it was a good thing for me because it made me understand, and like it made me realize that, hey, my body is able to get pregnant.
Mm,
That means
mm,
like but at that time when I got pregnant, I was 85 kilos. So that's
okay.
when I really like, okay, I'm gonna give this. So I did gluten and dairy-free diet for 3 months. I felt amazing. I work
Mm,
out, I do yoga, and when I work out, I do slow weighted workouts. I don't do any cardio that's crazy or over the top. When I'm tired, I rest, and I really listen to my body like 100%. And here I am, 70 kilos. I didn't think it was possible, but it was, and all it takes was to listen to my own body, which is difficult, by the way.
yeah.
I mean, you think listening to your body is easy, but it's not. It's so difficult. Sometimes you're the one fighting your own body. When your body's already tired, you're like, no, you can do another workout today. You already ate 3 chocolates yesterday. You gotta work out today.
So sometimes it's really hard to determine whether you are lazy or you are.
Yes, yes. It's so frustrating. It's like when you're tired, you're like, are you just being lazy, Deena? I mean, I think you should get out and move, but nowadays, I see a pattern already. On the days that I'm really tired and not lazy, halfway through the workout, I already feel like I'm giving up. Like I cannot. Usually, I carry like 10 kilos, right? Dumbbells. But on days that I'm really tired, my heaviest I can go is 5 kilos. That means I'm really tired. Then I know I'm like, okay, I wasn't being lazy. I'm really tired. So I'm just gonna take a nap. Like today, that was the day today.
Yeah. So it takes time for us to learn to know ourselves, I think. Yeah. So, and as our menstrual cycle, we women are very unique.
Oh,
Our menstrual cycle also actually will affect our emotion as well. Yeah.
that's right.
So how is this emotion roller coaster? Do you want to tell us a little bit about all this PCOS emotional
Oh, wow.
roller coaster?
So with polycystic ovarian syndrome, your cycles are a bit crazy. So for women with severe PCOS, I'm not talking about everyone, but I think majority of women who has come talk to me, their erratic mood swings are really uncontrollable. Like sometimes, this is my own personal story. Sometimes even when I'm having erratic mood swings, I cannot understand why I feel so angry out of the blue. Like
Mm,
like um like I mentioned earlier, I'm getting my period, I think tomorrow or the next few days,
mm,
and I'm already having anxiety.
mm,
It's because my estrogen is so low. My
mm,
feel good hormones is so low
mm,
that my body starts to like panic
mm,
unnecessarily. Yesterday at
mm,
night before we went to sleep, I told my husband, I was like, I don't know why I feel like I'm all over the place. I feel like but because my husband understands me, he would tell me like, baby, it's your hormones. You got to
mm,
just take it easy. And it helps having a partner who can remind you, because even though you already know, I mean, come on, I'm already a president of the organization, I can still forget, right? What if like normal people? So it's good for a reminder. That's why the support group is there. So then when you're having all these like emotions, we can sort of tell you like, hey, that's your hormones, calm down, like you can get through this. And I felt better today in the morning, and then come afternoon, I was back to my anxiety. I was having fatigue, and I can be like happy 1 second, and the next second you'll be
mm,
seeing me crying in the toilet. So that's how
mm,
bad
mm,
mood swings are
mm,
with women with PCOS.
mm.
But that
Yeah.
doesn't even tap into the mental health department. Like
Mm,
I'm prone to severe anxiety and depression.
mm,
So
mm,
especially when my cycle is ending, like 2-3 days before the period comes,
mm,
whoa,
mm,
then the
mm,
the anxiety comes very high.
mm, mm, mm. So that's why a lot of times when a woman has all this emotional swing, it's really important for you to just accept it. If you feel like crying, just cry it. If you feel like
Yes,
laughing, just laugh it, so you don't hold on to it, because the hormone is just and sometimes it just makes us more human, right? But
yeah,
I
yeah.
think what is more challenging is, like your husband, he knows what PCOS means, right? And if for partners who don't understand,
It's a
what is
bit
your
hard.
advice? Yeah, what is your advice?
Well, I think for partners who don't understand, if you have a wife who is vocal like myself, who's verbal, then sit down with your wife and really listen to her when she feels something amiss, or have your wife explain to you what PCOS does at different parts of her cycle. But if you have a wife who is more reserved, who's more quiet, and your wife have PCOS, and I think it's a matter of you just coming to our website and really understanding what PCOS and how it can affect moods. Because I think the hard part, I mean, like, yes, we can advocate for women just showing their emotions when they feel like it, right? But I think the hard part is that they will be judged by society or even family, which is the hardest. And I mean, my mom understands my PCOS, and even she still calls me dramatic nowadays when I cry about something, right? So but I think what helped the most is that my husband is so understanding. He doesn't judge me. And while I understand that not every woman is blessed to get a man that's understanding like that, I do feel that this man can be taught to be that way.
Okay, okay.
And like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You continue. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I think it's a matter of just taking that extra effort to find out on your own, or really talk to your wife about it, or your girlfriend, your sister, your auntie, your mom. I think it's so important to have a male support. And a male support comes like it comes in a bigger form. It's a warmer form because, you know, when an opposite gender understands us, we feel more understood than when somehow it just makes it like a whole, like a complete cycle of sort, you know. Like when a woman understands you, you sort of take it lightly, like, ah, yeah, because she's a woman, of course I should understand. But when a man understands you, it gives a whole lot more to the meaning of understanding a partner.
So I think now I can imagine a woman who doesn't know she has PCOS, and the husband doesn't understand about PCOS, and this lady having a mood swing and getting angry with the husband, and the husband must be saying, is your menses coming? And she said, no, it's not my menses problem, it's your problem, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So actually those problems are common, and that's what I was saying just now, right? Like there are women who are suffering from domestic abuse due to that, like basically not understanding. And some have gone through divorce, some wants to stay, some of them, their husband go and marry off a second one. So it's not an easy journey. And I don't advise on the marital part, but I do advise on either how to broach the issue or how to manage themselves as a woman.
Yeah, so I think having this self-awareness is really important. Even me myself, I also have PCOS, but not as severe as Deena. But when I realized that, then you will know that it's not you, it's the hormone. Right?
Yes.
And I remember there are times where I get so irritated, I will just check my menses calendar. Okay, it's not me, it's just the hormone, right? So you were like, okay, stay low today, try not to get irritated, and you know, after that you will be okay. Like you say, right? You feel so much energy, and you know this will not be a good day where you do things that is too stressful.
Exactly.
Yeah. And your husband, I think it will be also good to make your husband synchronize your calendar so that he knows that before your menses day, he needs to be extra, you know, sensitive, extra good to you, so that he doesn't trigger anything.
Yeah,
so
but for our relationship is because I'm very vocal and I'm very self-aware.
Okay.
So even the slightest change in my hormones, I know already. So then I'll tell my husband, like, today I'm pissed. And he'll ask why, and I'll be like, I don't know why. It's my hormones. and you know, and I have no doubt that a lot of women can achieve that same awareness as me. It's not something, it's not reach for the star situation here. It's a matter of practice. Yes, it takes a long time. Even my coaching courses is not going to be 21 days, fix your PCOS. It's more of a 3 months course that you have to do to really learn and instill good habits. So it is achievable, Miss Yap. Like I cannot stress enough that it is achievable, but I just ask for a bit of patience from the women. So then they'll be able to listen to themselves, you know?
And I think a lot of times, if you want to live healthier, this is a infinite game, right? It's not like, you know, it's not like after 21 days, then that's it. I can keep living.
Exactly. It's a long-term investment. You have to keep doing it.
Until the day you die, you need to keep on having this awareness that you should take care of your body, right? So sometimes a lot of people will treat this like a finite game, like, okay, this is like, I will do this for 21 days, I'll do this for 3 months. But no, it's not about that. It's about you learn it, you get more awareness and moderation, like not really cutting out anything, but the way you live your life, your lifestyle, you know, don't treat it as a shortcut. There's no shortcut in life, especially health. There's no shortcut in relationship. There's no shortcut in, you know, how you bring up your child. There's no shortcut in your health. Okay, there's many things there might be shortcut, but these are the things that you need to really keep effort.
I think, but that's the biggest problem in our community, is that everyone wants instant gratification, right? They do one thing and then get a reward the next day. But with PCOS, it's definitely not like that. Like you do one thing now, you can only see the result in 1 month. So it's very hard for me to to reteach that concept to a lot of women, because it's like a slimming pill, right? You take slimming pill today, you take it out next week. So something like people can get instant gratification, but it's so hard for me to tell women that, okay, whatever you do this month, you probably only get your period in the third month. So for those that doesn't get their period, you only get the period in third month. So it's very hard. It's not something I can sell easily even, but it's something that I'm very passionate about and I'm willing to keep trying to do. But you're right. It's hard because health is a long-term investment. You have to keep doing it. You know, like for me, I'm at the stage where I know what to do, how to manage. So we just went for our 1 week long holiday last week. And that whole week I was eating gluten and dairy. I was like going all out and I gained 3 kilos. So I was like, oh my God. I was like, okay, never mind. You know, now I'm back gluten and dairy free again. I work out, focus on getting my weight back down. So, you know, you come to a point where you're able to do that, where you're able to like, okay, for holiday, I want to just go all out. And then when I'm back, I'll get back into my routine. And that's okay. That's not wrong at all, because then you know how to moderate your lifestyle already, you know? So that is like the ultimate of how women with PCOS should lead their lifestyle.
So I think everybody has different type of lifestyle, different health condition. And I think there's no one right formula. You should have your own formula. Like for Deena, right. she will think that during holiday, she wants to go all out. Like for my case, I usually do it slightly differently. I will like one cheat meal, I will counter it with 3 healthy meal, right? So like every one cheat meal, I counter with 3 healthy meals. So it's like I can have cheat meal anytime.
Exactly.
It's just that every time I eat it, I make sure the next 3 meal is healthy, right?
Exactly. So because you figured out your formula, right? At the end of the day, like everybody, at the end of the day, we have to accept that only we know our body. So sometimes when women tells me to share my, like when I tell them about my weight loss and they tell me, can you share me your weight loss food, right? So I keep telling them, recipes. So I keep telling them, this weight loss recipe for me may not work for you, because can you eat scrambled eggs every day? Because I can. Like, can you eat baby spinach with garlic every day? Because I can. But if you cannot, then find something that you can do it, and then you'll enjoy your changes, you know. But of course, it's very hard for women to understand. So it's always like I have to slowly do it with them.
Yeah. But I would think it's really good that you have this mindset to coach people, because I think especially people who does not have enough knowledge and education on this area on how to live a good wellness, and you yourself being experienced all this from 17 years old until now, so I'm sure there's so much of sharing that you can do to all women out there, and I'm sure you have. Yeah, and I'm sure you have tried many ways and try and fail, right? And at this time, you kind of get hang to it. Okay, now how to do my body. I think many women, they keep on trying to copy other people's lifestyle and things like that.
That's the worst. Don't do that. Please don't do that. I did that for so many years. It didn't work. Oh my God.
So I think I am also, after come to certain age, right, we will kind of learn our lesson. I think when we are young, we tend to do that. So we go on keto diets, Atkins diets, sugar blockage, intermittent. I mean, even intermittent, I'm not saying any diet is bad. I'm saying any diet that is the pro, that is the cons. Like intermittent fasting is very good. But if you have PCOS, you need to take care, because you cannot be fasting all the time, and it might be bad as well. So you need to know, you need to learn, so that don't take it as a shortcut. It's like copy, when you go for exam, you copy people's answer, but you have a different questionnaire,
it's true. It's because I think it's always easier to copy others. And copy is not a bad thing. You can get inspired by what you see. I mean, the thing that I said that, you know, I copied for years and it didn't work. It really didn't work, you know, until I made an effort into finding recipes that I like to eat. Even though I'll be
True.
copying all these Western recipes I don't
Yeah,
like, because nowadays,
true.
you know, I enjoy my nasi lemak, nasi dagang.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think that nasi, like rice, is a problem. And I always tell them, rice is not a problem. Rice is good. Rice is good. You just have to eat it moderately, right? Instead of eating 3 times a day, maybe just eat once a day
Yeah.
for rice and a small portion. Um,
Yeah.
but a lot of unlearning and relearning to do for the food part. I think
So yeah, you are so right in saying copying all this recipe. It's all about sustainability, right? You
exactly.
look at certain diets, you know, you can follow it for 7 days, but you can't follow it for life. So it's all about sustainability. It's all about, you know, eating the food that you like. Of course, to
Exactly.
food that is healthy and you like is a little bit more difficult because the whole market are being are promoting food that is low in nutrients,
Yeah.
highly processed, you know, and these are the food that is highly available, right? The
Exactly.
healthy food, the
And
healthy,
cheap too.
yeah. So the healthy food are slightly more expensive. They are not so but available because readily available, right?
Hmm.
Because they are less processed, so it's slightly more difficult to find. But once you know it, you are more sustaining. You know, you can sustain that. Of course, again, you know, sometimes we've got to blame the market where, you know, all this processed food, all this fast food and convenient food. And sometimes I also understand when you're so busy, you just want to grab something convenient and eat, right?
Yeah.
So,
I
but
mean,
again,
I agree. I think your keyword for today is sustainability. Everything that we do has to be sustainable. Even if a woman chooses to do intermittent fasting, they can. But is it sustainable? Is it something you can do for the rest of your life? Because I've tried intermittent fasting for 3 months, and then the moment I started eating like normal, my weight started shooting up. So you need to know what choices to make and how to make them, and what, you know, you have to have proper like studies behind them. And I think it takes a lot of effort, but it's an effort that you're putting into your own body. It's no one else's body. You're not investing in anyone else here. You're investing in yourself. And if
yeah,
you like, for me, I really wanted that quality of life, that good quality of life, no headaches, no bloating,
true.
you know, no erratic mood swing. And
Hmm.
you know, and I changed a lot for that. And it's a
Yeah.
better lifestyle that I live. So so it's something, it's definitely achievable. And what I am doing now is probably one of the first time that is sustainable. Like I've been doing it for the past 2 years and it's been working out, because a lot of things didn't work out because I kept following other people, you know. I didn't try to suit it to myself, like doing it for my own body, right? So when I did, it's good. I mean, like, I cook vegetables with chili padi because I love my vegetables with chili padi. But everything is my own recipe, and it's great, and it's still clean. And I have tried to omit a lot of processed food, you know, sausages or like all this processed meat, which is also not
Yeah.
great. I try to eat a lot of lean meat. I still
Yeah.
don't quite like chicken, like lean chicken. I still like my drumstick, but I try. But like you lah, like, you know, one cheat meal, it equals to 3 healthy meal. Like you have to ratio it out, right? So
Yes, yes. So I think it's really great to have you sharing all these PCOS with us. And I would really want you to come to our space, and I might also want to explore how you do coaching for our clients as well, because I
okay.
think PCOS is really a very, very common thing. And I think coaching is, you know, I think coaching is the right word. You know, it's really not giving you a recipe or things like that. It's
That's right.
basically telling you how to listen to yourself, you know, how
Exactly.
to,
Exactly.
yes. Also,
Yes,
I
Miss
think,
Yap, you got the entire concept. I'm definitely not gonna. Yeah, I'll include a couple of, you know, sample meals, but I'm not gonna provide it to them like for their life, because that one they have to come out. But I will give them sort of like a template for them to be able to, what to feel, what to look out for after they eat. So then they're able to know if it's inflammation or if it's, high sugar and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to work together with you and also visit your clinic.
Yes. Okay, so I think promoting self-care is always my passion, because I always think that taking care of yourself is to give your best to the world, and not giving whatever is left over to the world. And I
That's
think
right.
when you really take good care and you have like pink of health, you, how to say, like you say, the quality of life is so much better. You have better energy, you have less mood swing, you sleep better, you have more energy, all these
Yeah.
are really important. And so much so that nowadays, work are so hectic, world is kind of crazy, and people are always under high stress. And how you manage your lifestyle and your stress level is really, really important if you're talking
I
about
agree.
and
Yeah.
especially at our age, 30, 40, 50, if you don't take care, imagine when you're menopause, right? And, then, and nowadays, human can live way longer, Do you know
Yeah.
100 years ago, people only live up to 40 to 50 years old, but nowadays people live 80, 90, and I would think, if the next 20 years, if you are still here, most probably you can cross 100 years old.
That's
And
right.
if you wanted to cross 100 years old, and imagine you are, your body system is all haywire. You wouldn't
Haywire.
want
Yeah.
to, yeah, you wouldn't want
Yeah.
to live so long, right? So,
That's right.
okay, thank you very much, Deena. I really
Thank
hope
you
to
so
see
much,
you.
Miss Yap, for having me.
Yeah, yeah. So I wish you all the best for your coaching business as well. And
Thank you.
we really need to look into how can we collaborate in doing
All
this
right.
coaching for client as well.
Let's do
Okay,
it.
thank you,
Thank you so
thank you,
much.
audience. Yeah,
All
thank you.
right.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.